Today, we're diving into a pretty radical idea, the personal data locker. Now, this isn't just another app or some new cloud service. It's about a fundamental shift in who actually owns and controls your data. A shift made possible not by new laws, but by a completely different kind of digital architecture.
I mean, think about it for a second. We work online, we hang out with friends, we create, we learn, all in these digital spaces. But here's the thing. Unlike in the real world, the ground beneath our feet, the platforms, the servers, all that infrastructure, it doesn't belong to us. We're basically just tenants living on someone else's property. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. This one single assumption, that your data isn't really yours, is the foundation for pretty much every modern digital problem. It's what allows our behavior to be tracked, our attention to be sold, and our information to be used in ways we never, ever intended.
So, how do you even begin to fix a problem that's so deeply baked into the system? Well, the idea we're exploring today says that we shouldn't just ask for better rules. What if, instead, we built a totally different kind of house? One with different walls, different doors, built from the ground up to work in our favor.
And that brings us to our first really big concept, this idea of sovereign territory. So, what exactly is this new foundation we're talking about?
Here's the core of it. A personal data locker, or PDL, isn't something you rent. It's something you actually own. The source material uses that word territory for a very specific reason. It implies total ownership, really clear boundaries, and you having the sole authority to decide what happens inside it. And it's all locked down and secured by cryptography.
And this is where you can see the huge difference between a PDL and the services we use every day. Things like cloud storage or backup vaults, they all rely on custody. Someone else is holding your data for you. A PDL is built on sovereignty. You hold it yourself. There's no admin, no central point of control, and absolutely no one who can grant access except you, period. Now, this whole philosophical difference, it bleeds into the entire experience of using a PDL, which is built on something called the empty room principle.
Just picture this. You sign up for a new service, and instead of a guided tour and tutorials and a bunch of preloaded content, you get, well, nothing. Just a completely empty space. And that emptiness is actually a really powerful statement. It says, we expect absolutely nothing from you. This space is yours. You decide what to do with it.
So what that really means is no default files dropped in for your convenience. No onboarding funnels that are designed to steer your behavior. And for sure, no tracking scripts running in the background. It is a completely clean slate. A total break from all those systems designed to start getting value from you the second you arrive. And that's the power the emptiness gives you. You and only you get to choose what comes in, what stays, and what goes out. Your authority is absolute, right from the very first moment. The entire architecture is set up to serve you, not the other way around. Okay, so you have this sovereign territory, this empty room that you control. But how do you actually interact with the rest of the world without just giving away all your private information? Well, this is where the whole concept of identity gets a major upgrade. The key to all this is a piece of technology called a decentralized identifier, or a DID. Think of it less like a username and more like a permanent, unique digital fingerprint that isn't tied to your name, your email, or any other personal detail. It's just a cryptographic anchor that belongs to you and only you. So, using this anchor, you can prove certain things without having to reveal everything about yourself. You can prove that you exist, you can prove that you're the same person who was here yesterday, and you can prove that you are the author of some piece of data. It's all about verification, not exposure.
And here's the real magic. What's left out is just as important as what's included. So for example, to prove you're old enough to get into a bar, you don't need to show your full name, your address, or your exact birth date. A DID can cryptographically prove the statement, I am over 21, without revealing anything else about you. That's called selective disclosure, and it's built right into the architecture.
But this system isn't just designed for today's internet. The whole structure is designed with a much, much longer-term vision in mind, one that actually takes into account how fragile our current digital world can be.
The PDL is engineered from the ground up to be incredibly resilient. Your territory, your data, it should stay accessible to you even if the platforms you use completely collapse, or if companies go bankrupt, or if networks get disrupted. It's designed for what the source material calls civilizational instability.
So what does it take to get to your stuff? It's designed to be incredibly simple and super resilient.
All you need are three things: your cryptographic proof that you are you, any interface that's compatible, and any network path you can find. What this means is your data is never ever trapped inside a single company's silo.
So let's zoom back out. When you put all of these pieces together, this sovereign territory, the empty room principle, this idea of identity without exposure, what does it all really add up to?
It all comes back to this. It fundamentally shatters that core assumption that you don't own your data. And the way it does it isn't by protesting the old system or trying to regulate it. It does it by building a new one where that old assumption is just architecturally impossible.
And that, right there, is the ultimate promise. The goal isn't to become some kind of digital hermit or to disappear from the internet. It's about having a place that is undeniably, unshakably yours, a sovereign foundation where you can stand, and from there, interact with the rest of the digital world safely and confidently. It kind of leaves us with one big question, doesn't it? What could we build if we all started from a place that we truly owned?